Following program are those of the host and guests and do not necessarily reflect the policy or position of ONTV's management, staff, or board of directors. The views and opinions expressed on the following program are those of the host and guests and do not necessarily reflect the policy or position of ONTV's management, staff, or board of directors.
In other words, they don't condone the shit that we're saying, but they allow us to say it because of freedom of speech. Hello, welcome to another fabulous episode of
Talking Nude.
where we talk live, uncensored, uncut, unedited about things that...
Talking Nude.
Wouldn't it be great if people just jumped out the window, went swimming with their clothes off?
Talking Nude.
You know, they could be like sitting on the top of their car, surfing like Sean Penn and Fast Times at Ridgemont High, talking nude. Wouldn't it be crazy?
No. Talking Nude.
Talking nude.
Yes, yes, yes.
Talking nude.
Talking Nude.
Hey,
Hey, take
hey.
off your clothes.
Oh, take off your clothes. Take off your clothes and
Take
get
off
in the
your
bed.
clothes.
Take off your clothes and get in the bed. Because it's cold as hell, you want to go to sleep. Yeah, yeah. Snuggle, put on the socks. Stay warm.
Not go put on the socks.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to another fabulous, spectacular episode of
Talking Nude.
where we talk live, uncensored, uncut, unedited about pretty much whatever the fuck we want. Why? Because it's...
Talking Nude.
I'm one of your hosts, Jason, and this is my beautiful wife.
Miss Kathy.
Yes, Mrs.
A.
Kathy A. So, a lot to unpack this weekend. First off, it was cold as fuck last night when we were watching TV. I don't know what the hell happened, but I started getting a runny nose and shit. I mean, I know I was by the window, but damn.
Yeah,
You notice that shit?
this is true. Oh, it's Monday, April 21st, 2025.
Yeah, it was Easter. Lots of people went out and celebrated.
And it was 420.
420 and Easter. So basically, the Easter bunny was out getting high. He was out there smoking a bowl. He was like, "Fuck these kids! I'm going to get high."
My thing is,
He
I
went
don't
behind
even
the building.
understand where the. I don't get the. Okay, whether people know it, okay. Easter is technically Ostara, which is a pagan holiday, and also it's Resurrection Day for Christians.
It's definitely not a real
So
holiday.
actually it is. Ostara is a real holiday.
No, I'm saying the Americanized version
Oh.
of it is not a real holiday.
But I just want to know, like, how did we get the Easter bunny from Jesus dying on the cross and from Ostara?
Oh, I can answer that, Coach, because people had a business meeting and they sat there going, "What can we do to boost economic sales in the Dollar Tree stores, establishments, and Kmart's? What can we do?" And they're like, "Oh, well, we could put a symbol. We could do a symbol, something that
But the
kids
bunny-
would like, bunnies."
Okay, but I can see
Because
the.
think about it. Would Jesus, I'm not saying this in a sacrilegious way, but would Jesus be something that you would want to see in an Easter basket?
No.
Exactly. It's horrifying. You don't
Yeah.
want to see a human being with nails and on the cross
Yeah.
on an Easter
Yeah.
basket. That'd be fucked up.
That is true.
That'd
That
be
would be like
traumatizing.
that would be.
But if you had an Easter bunny, it's like, oh, it's so cute.
Yeah.
But not if it had nails to its fucking
Yeah.
flesh, though.
But no, that's you hit on. You make a very good fucking point with that shit though,
It's-
because truly, for what they talk about Easter is, which is the death of Jesus.
Yes.
But they came up with this Easter bunny stuff.
Hmm.
But if you really were to take the Jesus thing and actually make it into like how they made the Easter bunny, that would be terrifying to kids.
It would be. It is. That's not what it is.
Because
Kids
there's
don't wanna
nothing
see
cute
that.
about. I don't care what anybody says. This is fact, y'all. I don't know if anybody has listened to the Bible theatrically. There's so many versions, you guys. Go on YouTube.
What do you mean? Is an audiobook of it?
Oh yeah, there's so many audio plays and
Oh.
theatrical versions of the Bible on YouTube. One day, this had to be about when we first moved into our 2-bedroom.
Okay.
I was listening to the theatrical, biblical story of Jesus and the resurrection and all that. It was great though, because it was like a play, but you're listening to it. But when they were going through the resurrection scene, it was horrifying listening to that shit
I bet.
just on audio.
Oh, I bet.
I remember seeing the Passion of the Christ, and that was terrifying.
That was
So-
crazy.
In general, there is nothing pretty or cutesy pootsy about Easter.
No.
But they
about-
make it out to be through the Easter Bunny, but there's nothing cute about it.
Easter is really about the assassination of Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
It's
Truly.
about how the Romans and the Jews got together and fucking assassinated fucking Jesus. And then when he died, he went behind a cave and the stone covered in the cave. And when they went to remove the cave or remove the stone from the cave, he was gone.
Jesus wasn't there.
He wasn't there.
Here's the crazy thing, the part of like, let's speed it up just to 2025. Jesus was a man that got killed for, and you said it best once, honey. Me and you were talking. You were saying he basically got killed because of the fact that he was just preaching the truth. It's just like anybody
that's
else.
why he got
Anybody
That's
who was
exactly why
preaching the
he got
truth or
killed.
talking about the truth or anything. He was just a person that was speaking truth, and they killed him for that. And this is the other part
Well-
two of it. They literally think about it in this day and age, right? How they always make an example out of people. That's what they did with Jesus. Was people think this was this great and harmonic and loving story? No, it wasn't. They took a man who was teaching people all this truth, being good to people, being nice to people, taking in people underneath his wing, discipling
Don't forget he
them.
was hanging out with hookers.
Yes, that too. Discipling people. He was doing all this great shit. And then they're like, oh no, we can't have him do that. So when they killed his ass, they made an example out of him by doing all that, making him carry the thing he's about to die on, and then murdering him in front of all these people. To scare people.
But the crazy
To
thing, though,
scare people, just like lynching used to be. They would hang you in front of your fucking family and shit. They did the same thing to Jesus.
But the crazy thing though is in school, they told you they were like, oh, it's the Romans that did it. It's the Romans. No, it was actually the Jewish.
Jews
The
get their own.
Jewish owned the banks and they had the power, and they were mad because Jesus was wielding power, basically subliminally. Like he wasn't doing it intentionally. He just was helping people, and when he was helping people, he was changing their perspective and their way of thinking, and
Yep.
they didn't like that. Jewish basically at the time, and I'm not saying this to like bash the Jews, but at the end of the day, they were basically they owned everything. They owned everything, and they they
isn't
pulled the strings behind the scenes to where they got the Romans to
Isn't
do
that
the dirty
why
work for them.
Mel Gibson got in trouble when he made
Well,
the Passion of the Christ? Because
That, but I
the
guess he
version of
also
Passion
said
of the
some-
Christ basically says that
Yes.
the Jews that of Jesus,
Yes.
Jesus was Jewish and Jesus
Yes.
was killed by his own.
Yes, but also I also think it's because he said some anti-Semitic stuff. They said.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
'Cause-
like when he got pulled over, he was drunk or something. I don't know how true that is. We'll probably Google it later and talk about it next time. But I do think that that's what happened. I think he got pulled over. He was
but
drunk.
it just still comes down to the fact of like when you think about that story. Because I was thinking about that the other day. I was having deep thoughts. I'm like, Jesus was this person. If that was year 2025, they used people to make examples.
All the time.
Just to scare people. And back in those days, hell yeah, I would be freaked out if I was one of them townspeople who sat there and watched them hang a man
Yeah.
on a cross and kill him.
Yep.
You know, I'd be freaked out. So of course, I would abide by the laws because I'm freaked out because of that. And they still do that to this day and age, make examples out of people.
So basically, the Easter Bunny probably, this is just my guess, and I could be wrong. I think the Easter Bunny was in the 50s. I would say the baby boomer generation were the war, like 30s, 40s, 50s.
They had to come from somewhere, but I can
somewhere
see
in
where the
that
rabbit
area.
comes in because rabbit's foot is known for good luck.
Right.
So I can see where the symbolism of the rabbit came from.
No, it was
And
definitely
also
a
the
corporate
rabbit
thing.
is a symbol of spring. Astara now. Astara is the pagan holiday, which is really the year. It's really meaning a cycle of springtime coming. It's a spring holiday, basically.
Well, that's just like they say Valentine's Day is a holiday. It's not it's not
No,
a
it's
holiday.
not the massacre. It's about
It's not a
massacre.
holiday. It's not about fucking Cupid. Like, if you think about St. Valentine's Day massacre, you don't think about fucking chocolate hearts. You think about
the
mobsters.
dad who fucking killed killed his daughter. You ever heard the story of
No,
where that came from?
I was thinking about the mob assassination.
Oh no, I'm thinking about
you
the
never heard
other
about
story.
the St. Valentine's Day massacre?
I heard about that, but I've heard about the
So
other one
in
with the
Chicago,
king and his daughters.
Well, hold that thought one second. Okay, so in Chicago, right, they had people that were dressed up like cops that basically went in and gunned a bunch of mobsters down. They made it seem like they were getting frisked in this garage in Chicago, and supposedly Al Capone's people were behind it. But they went in there and they dressed up as cops, and they had everybody fucking put their hands, up, and they faced the wall, and they got assassinated. And it was called the St. Valentine's Day
Oh, well, this
Massacre.
one goes back further in history.
This was in the 20s.
This one goes back further in ancient time history. Like, okay, there was a king who had 3 daughters.
Mhm.
The king picked out husbands for his daughters, but the daughters didn't want to marry these people. They want to marry these 3 fellows that the father picked out. So they all 3 decided to fall in love with common strangers, common law people, common people, and decided to marry them behind the king's back. The king's like, oh, really? Oh, that's cute. The king had all 3 men killed and then gave his daughters all 3 of their hearts for Valentine's Day gifts.
And see, this is why.
In other words, you really think you're going to trump the king? Are you serious? But yeah, that's the story that I grew up on of what Valentine's Day is really about.
Fucked up because that's not. So the moral of what we're trying to say, the message.
These holidays are made up. They're man-made.
The holidays are made up and man-made. And guess what? They're to siphon your money. That's it.
Yeah.
They want your money. Like
consumerism.
Like, for example, if you go to a fucking dollar store or you go to any store, you're going to see tons of Valentine's themed shit. Now, here's the thing. I'm not trying to bash any holiday. Please don't take it that way, guys. And
No,
gals.
we're just saying
We're
that
just
at
saying
the end of the day.
be more conscientious. If you want to buy something for your significant other as a gift,
Go ahead, but don't be enslaved to have to do it.
yeah, don't feel like you have to do it every certain time. Like, if we did that, we would all be fucking broke. Think about that, people. If you actually spent money every time there was a man-made holiday, you would be
Holy
fucking
crap.
broke.
Okay, in my world, because I am Wiccan. Okay. Do you know there's the Wheel of the Year. Okay, for us, there's a lot of holidays. Literally, it's called the Wheel of the Year for a reason. There's 12 holidays. If I were to celebrate 12 holidays, the way that some people celebrate Christmas and Easter and all that, I'd be broke.
That's
Celebrating
what I'm saying.
all 12
That's
holidays.
what I'm literally saying.
Like, no, I acknowledge
Like, think
the
about
Wiccan holidays.
Think about Christmas. Think about Thanksgiving.
But I have my own way of celebrating. I might celebrate through fixing a good meal for me and Jason, or I might light up some candles, but
Like-
I just, no.
Like, when I was a kid, Thanksgiving was about, it was the Pilgrims and, Plymouth Rock and the Pilgrims and the Indians. And then when you get older, you're like, holy shit, the fucking Pilgrims raped and pillaged and fucking attacked and left
It was not a
disease.
happy story.
It was not a happy story at all, but they don't tell you that when you're a kid because it would traumatize kids.
Yeah.
Think about it. If you're 5 years old and you found out that the settlers fucking assassinated the Indians, you know what I'm saying? Like, you would be traumatized.
Or that somebody can just come and take something from you at all times.
But it makes
if we
you-
really taught kids about really what being savages is really about,
Yeah.
how this world is really about eat or be eaten,
It's fucked up. But you gotta
kids
learn
will be
those
terrified.
lessons.
But unfortunately, Jason, in this day and age, because
You do need to know that lesson.
Okay.
though. You do need to learn the lesson
have
of
been
eat or be
watching-
eaten, though, unfortunately. You do.
yes, I've been watching this podcast of an uncle and his nephew talking. It's called Unc and Trell, podcast, but it's about he's in his 20s, smart 20-something-year-old, and he's in his 40s, going on 50s, like you are, right? And these 2 generations are talking, and you'd be surprised that how many have already found out the gloom and doom. And the 20-something was saying that he's known of the gloom and doom since he was like 10 years old of eat or be eaten. And it's a scary fact. That's why so many of the generations of him in his 20s don't want to do anything because they feel like they've already lost because they watched the generations before lose. And he was and it's such an interesting podcast. I pulled it up on
Because they did lose.
yes. And then how generations aren't connecting anymore. I really see it. The generations aren't connecting anymore because they don't want to. They have really watched the 40s and 50-year-olds fail. And the 40 and 50-year-olds who failed watched their parents fail. And so on. And so the kids nowadays are just like, I don't want to do nothing. I rather daydream. I rather be on my phone than live in this reality of eat or be eaten because that's terrifying
But that
to
ain't.
them.
But that's not the way to be either.
I know it's not.
You
Either
can't
way,
fucking be distracted from your device 24/7
And
to
you
where
can't
you're
be
not
distracted
living
from the
in
world
real
every
world.
day
Exactly.
either.
That's what I'm saying. Like
Yep.
you're not living in real time if you're just fucking being distracted. But
Mhm.
like for example, DC. I'm gonna say his name. I don't give a fuck. When you used to do the radio show with Sean, okay. At the end of the day, they'd be doing the radio show and he'd just be on his phone all the fucking time. Sean's over here talking and doing all the, up next this song and blah, 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 blah. And DC over here on his phone, like, yeah, chiming in here or there. Like,
Because people we're so distracted by devices and stuff.
but they choose to be.
But you know why we choose to be? Because and I'm going to put myself in this because I get distracted by my device all the time. You know what it is? My device caters to what I want, when I want it, how I want it. People do not.
But do we need that though? Think
No,
about
we
back
don't,
in the day with
technically.
our phones. We actually.
But
When
I
you had
know
a
what I'm
phone-
saying is that's why people are who they are. It's because, and they know that those who created this phone and these distractions know this is what it's about. People don't really want to deal with people, the difficulties of people anymore. That's where you see the younger generations are on their phone, their devices are playing video games, or because they don't want to deal with people. We had to deal with people coming up. We had to confront them. We had to do all this different stuff. And these kids don't want to. They don't have to. Because the phone from the start gives them instant gratification.
So just to add to that, I wouldn't say they don't want to. I would say that they're brainwashed. Because if you look at the devices and you look at TV and you look at internet, when I was a kid, yeah, you had TV, but you also were forced to go outside and play.
Yeah, that's true.
These fucking kids are terrified to go outside because what do you hear on the news all day?
Yep.
Kids getting trafficked, kids getting kidnapped, this is happening, this kid's getting murdered, kids getting shot up in school. So the parents are basically preaching fear to their kids and so, well, they're cool with them staying in the house because at least they feel that they're safe. But are they really safe?
No.
They're not really safe.
Because they don't know anything for when actual shit happens. This is funny because there was a woman on social media who talks about her daughter is afraid to take the garbage out at nighttime. But she was like, I was stealing cars at nighttime with my friends.
Hello.
I was out and about. How is my daughter afraid to go outside? She wants me to look outside while she goes and take the garbage out at nighttime.
Look, we used to go out.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Not to incriminate myself because it's like
but
years
it was the
later.
truth. We did. We went.
But
we
we
ran.
used to use spark plugs for break the windows open. We used to do all that
Correct.
shit late at night.
We were
weren't
out late at
scared
night.
to go outside.
Right. These kids are afraid to go to the damn trash can. That's what she was making fun of. She was like, how did this happen? How did I come from a generation where I was out at nighttime stealing cars with my friends to my daughter needing me to look at her while she takes the garbage out at nighttime?
Best way to answer that is look at the news.
Yeah, I know.
Like, why do you think I watch the clips that I do? I only watch the clips. I don't want to watch the whole fucking thing because it's depressing. It's like as soon as you turn the news, like, dun, 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 drama, murder, kidnapping. You know, it's just, you know what I mean? At least I can deal with it in little 12-minute clips. But I can't deal with a whole fucking hour of looping over and over because it brainwashes people. It got people thinking, like there was a documentary that came out, Bowling for Columbine with Michael Moore. And everybody's talking all this mad shit about him because of what he was saying about Bush back in the day. And they booed him. But then later on, they were like, hey, he was right. No fucking shit, he was right. Bush is a fucking retard. Anyway, the point is, if you watch the documentary, okay, he was literally like going in people's houses and like knocking on the door and their door was open and he was going in. And I think this was in like Canada or something that he was doing it at. And they were like, yeah, just come right in. And he was coming in with the film crew and everything. And then they were talking about, well, how come you have the doors open and this, that, and the other? And they're like, because why not? You know, like it's a nice day out. We're not afraid of anything. America perpetuates
But
fear.
you know what's crazy? I will say this. Oops,
They perpetuate fear.
When I lived with my granny. When I lived with my granny.
Rest in peace, Grandma. Grandma Mary, right?
Yep, granny. Yep, granny. To Mary, yeah. She never locked her door. You could walk in her house at 12 midnight and her door was open. And I used to ask her and I lived with her, I'm like, Granny, don't you ever lock your door? She said, yeah, before I go to sleep. And Granny didn't go to sleep until 3 o'clock in the morning. But she said, my house is covered. And I believed her. And I always did. My house is covered by God. And even if I did, I got these remember, you know, my pan, my steel.
Yeah.
Those are hers. They used to be hers.
Cast iron
yeah,
pots.
She goes, I'll just clock one of the people upside their head if they did come into my house. But she was never afraid. And she lived right,
Yes.
you know, she lived right on Voorhees.
Yeah.
She just didn't walk away with that mentality because she's from the country.
Yes.
And they don't lock their doors. And she just never was a person who locked it. She said before she goes to sleep, why would she lock her door if she's up?
But she also wasn't on social media.
No, she wasn't. And she was a little old lady with people living in her house coming in and out, in and out.
Yep.
Did not care whatsoever. She would even take a nap. Granny would take a nap during the day for 2 hours, 3 hours, be knocked out sleep with the door wide open. She didn't care.
Think about it. You have all your senses if you're off social media, if you're
This is
not on
true.
your device. You're able to use your sight, sound, hearing, all that, right?
And you just didn't walk around afraid. And she wasn't
didn't-
afraid. Even though
Exactly.
she was in her 80s, she just didn't. She said, for what?
But
She
if you
was
watch
safe
the
for what?
news, they tell you all the time.
Be
Watch
afraid.
out for this. Watch out for that. This is going on. This is going on. Stock market. Blah blah blah. It's depressing, and that's why these kids feel they're just in. If they're in their device, they're just in this little safe bubble. But you're not safe. But that doesn't mean you don't fucking go out and adventure
I
in the
think
world.
it gets
Like,
to their imagination. I think what it
Yeah.
does is make people fantasize like how books used to when we were kids. We used to escape into books, though.
mhm.
You know,
We
I
used to
think
ride our
that-
dirt bikes
and
outside.
I think yes, we go, but we would escape off on our bikes, and we had forms of escapism, but it wasn't the way
What did
the
you do
computer age
when you were a
was.
kid? What did you do to escape? Like, did you
Oh,
go bike
mine
riding?
was
Did you go for
teasing.
walks?
Mine was TV. Mine was TV.
Well, I know that, but
taping
did you
TV
did
shows.
you go outside? Did you go out?
No, I'm fat as fuck, honey. I didn't go outside. I did not. Do
So you mean to
bikes.
tell me that they never let you go outside, or you
No,
just
my
chose?
mom and dad let me. Like, if I was at Grandma Pearl's and Grandfather James' house in the summertime when I was like a kid, because that's when we would come to Michigan.
Mhm.
They would make us go outside, but I didn't really want to go outside because of the fact that,
'Cause why?
honestly, for me, when I was here, if I would come here to Michigan and be outside with my sister and her friends, my sister was boy crazy, and I've always had this butt, and the boys would feel on me, and I didn't
Okay.
like it, so I would stay
Made
in the
you
house.
Uncomfortable.
Yes.
Okay.
And my sister was fast, so she didn't mind doing all that fast stuff. You know, I just wasn't into it. And then in Minnesota, when I was like at home on a regular basis, I didn't like going outside because it just didn't appeal to me.
Right.
Because for what? I didn't really have any friends. And what was the appeal of riding a bike? What was the appeal of it? What didn't sound fun to me because I didn't have that lifestyle of having friends and being outside.
I'm about to say you didn't have a friend that would
Versus like my brother and my sister, they
grab you
love
to
being
get on the
outside.
bike.
You know, they love being outside because they had friends and stuff. So I never had friends to be wondering what it's like to go outside.
That
I was
came over
inside.
and asked you to go outside
Yeah.
with them.
When I was
Wow.
tiny, like, 5, 6, 7, sure. But as I became older, like teenager and 10 years old, 11, 12, I was in the house.
So basically,
And-
TV was your device.
Yeah, mine was my distraction. I used to tape TV shows and all that kind of stuff. It was like a hobby. Magazines, books. I was very much a homebody,
Okay.
But I wish that I had activities. Truly, like, I think that if I ever had kids, or if just in general, I think every parent at 3 years old, put your kids in activity so they know what it's like to be out and about and be active.
Yeah.
And also, parents, you need to be active too. Because that's one thing I wish that my parents did. My parents were fat asses too. And I'm being honest. Your kids learn exactly from you.
Yeah.
If you see your parent getting up and going and working out and stuff, your kids end up following along those same habits
Yeah.
because of the parent.
Yeah.
But if your parents are fat ass, your kids are going to be fat asses too.
And it's sad because I'm not gonna say who, but at the end of the day, one of my friends,
Holy shit.
their kid used to be like working out. They used to, go to the gym, and then all of a sudden you see that, and it's like you said though, there's probably lack of options,
If their parents don't do it, the kids mainly
Exactly.
aren't going to do it. If your parents don't put their kids in sports,
or they can't
lot of
afford the good food because the food's expensive.
yes. But the thing is, here's what I'm just noticing, because anybody that I know that works out and stuff, their kids do too. Everybody whose kids are athletic or whatever, it's because their parents are.
Right.
And their parents keep up with it. Like one of my friends,
Well,
Chris,
our kid, if hypothetically, if we was to have a kid, our kid would be
our
they'd
kid
be
would
working
go
out.
into a sport at 3 years old. I would
also-
not raise my kid the way I was raised. I was raised to be a fat
Yes.
girl
But also, though,
and
dear,
somebody's wife, a fat girl and somebody's wife.
we would also be limiting their electronic time.
Limit
They-
electronics.
they would be earning-
Education would be first.
They would be earning their electronic time. And as far as dating wouldn't happen until we know for sure that they're able to handle being on a date.
I honestly don't even know if I would let my kid date. They would have to do it behind my back. I think I would be very
No.
close-minded about it. And the reason I'm saying that is,
I would rather know than not know. 'Cause
nope, I rather them figure it out on their own and then be like, not in my house because of the
But if
fact
they
of,
got pregnant and tried to come back to the house, how does the fuck's that gonna
no,
work?
because when they ask me, can they date? I would say, you've got plenty of time for that. When you're 18, you can. But if you want to do it, go ahead. If you do it behind my back, but you won't be under my roof. Because
But
it's
what
a
if
waste
they
of
get
time.
pregnant though? How would you handle that?
If they got pregnant,
I know how you're looking at me, but it'd be a hard decision. I know.
truly, I would have. It would be hard. That would be very, very, very hard.
It would be.
But if they went out on their own, but I would tell my kid why I don't want them dating. I would tell them why first. But if they choose to do it behind my back, they want to make that decision to do it behind my back, go ahead. But
Yeah.
whatever consequences come with it, I told you so.
Yeah.
But it's a waste of time. And you have
Get
other
your
things
shit
to,
together.
Get
First.
ev-
Get
yes.
your life together. See, I think
You can still
I
have
think what
friends and
happens
still enjoy
is-
your life and all that. I think that too many kids are trying to couple up at a young age, and their excuse really is they just want to have sex.
But they're also growing up too fast. Because if you look at MTV, for example, back in the day when they just played videos all fucking day, now they play Teen Mom, Teen Pregnancy, Teen
like
Reunion.
they glorify it.
They glorify it. They say
glorify
it's okay.
wasting your time, believing that you're gonna be with this guy a long
Yes.
time, you're gonna be with this girl a long time, but you're nothing but teenagers. You don't. There's so much more to life first.
Exactly.
I feel like live your life first. My thing would be no. I wouldn't. No. My answer would be
Exactly.
no. If my kid's like, I want to have a boyfriend, no. It's a waste of time. You don't need it right now. And I would say when you are 18, you are an adult by law.
Yep.
You can make an adult decision, and that's fine with me. But if you are a minor, I'm making the decision, and I'm saying it's a waste of time. But if you choose to do it behind my back, that is on you.
I guess
But
I would feel like as long as
I don't
we
want
know
you
the
practicing
person,
marriage in front of me when I know
is-
you're not married. I
is-
don't want you practicing anything when you are a minor. You're not an adult yet.
well, I
Because that's
guess-
what it is. It's
Well,
practicing
we
marriage.
say that now, but realistically, we wouldn't be able to stop that because they're going to have
Yeah,
their
but-
first
but-
kiss when they're a kid.
Yes, they are. Correct. But it comes down to those things
You just
of,
don't want to see it. You don't want to know.
no.
It's like, I will keep you in the house 24/7.
I don't want to know. And because I know what it's about.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I will, I know what it's about. But
There's
at
an
the same
ulterior
note,
motive.
yes.
Yeah.
But at the same note, I don't know, because I think a part of me doesn't want to raise my kid for me to be this crazy authority figure. I don't know if I want to be that either.
I don't want to be that.
So
Because I would be the stricter one. I already know you'd be the more lax one, and I'd be more strict. I'd be like, you can't do this, can't
that's
do that.
probably why I don't have kids, because it's too much. Like I said, even with my god kids, it's hard for me even to accept the fact that my godson has a girlfriend. I don't like it.
But I think
And I
it's-
admit I
think
don't
it's-
like it.
But I think it's more of an interracial thing, is because
No, it's not. This one is about it's not an interracial thing. No.
It's
I
not?
don't, because this is how I feel.
okay.
Because he's a boy and he's got a girlfriend. Only thing I think to myself is, this girl who's not in my godson's household has the power right now to ruin his life.
But he also has a choice too.
Yes, but if pregnancy happens, the decision's on the girl. And when I see how she looks at him with the googly eyes, and I think that's cute, but I know googly eyes because I've been 16.
Right.
Googly eyes is, if I fall in love with this boy and I get me some of him and I get attached to him, I know what I'm willing to do to keep him.
I think
And-
that's also a fear that you have.
Yes,
but-
I do, because I've
but-
watched so many of my clients do it. I watched a lot of my friends do it and have this notion and became young mothers from that googly look. And all of them just about have had multiple families because they pulled that trick. And they're
That
still
doesn't-
fighting
but-
with their baby daddies to this day. And we're all in our 40s now. And they're still upset because at 16, the boy didn't want to be with her. And the boy didn't pay child support, all this. And it's just, there's too much power on the other end.
Well, you're his godmom.
versus-
You can put knowledge into his head.
No, it's not even that. It's just the fact that it can happen. He can even put on a condom, let's say. And the condom could bust.
Condoms are way better than they were back in.
I know, but
our
it could
day.
still happen. Because these little jackrabbit little boys don't know what the fuck they're doing. They're jackrabbiting.
But do you think he's really fucking?
Huh? No.
Exactly.
No, not at all. I don't think they're even at that point.
And,
but
and
I'm
you
just
know
saying.
why? Because he's looking at his mom.
No, I don't even think that it's that. I just think that
I do.
Zion's really I know I dropped his name, my bad. But
I
he's
do.
really,
I honestly think.
But I think overall, it just comes down to me just being leery that it's different because promise, like my goddaughter. Yeah, a woman can instill as much knowledge in her to put herself on birth control. That's different because a person if I had kids, I can control whether or not my daughter's on birth control. But when it's outside the household, when it's a boy, even if it was you, Jason, if we had a son, I would be paranoid because I can't control what that little young girl is doing. I can't control whether or not she's on birth control. I can't control that. A boy only has a condom. A girl has so many options, but I can't control what's going on in her body. If she decides, I have clients who, we'll go on to something else after that. I have clients that choose. I have one of my close friends' daughters doesn't like being on birth control. And she's only 19 years old. She says, I don't like the way it feels, but she's having sex and has a boyfriend.
Well, when she has a million fucking kids,
I know.
it'll be her own fault.
Exactly. But if I had a son who was dating her, I would be scared to death that my son's life would be absolutely ruined from a girl like that.
But I don't think, for one, and not getting all deep into it, I don't think, for one, he's going to go that route because he's looking at choices that were made before, and he doesn't want to make them same choices.
I know that in general, but that's just me
think.
as...
It's you being the protective
Yes,
godmother.
that's just me looking at the fact of I can't control his girlfriend's body. And I know that sounds so fucked up, but it's true.
I think
I can't control it. If so, when they do, they're 16, they're going to, what do you think boyfriend and girlfriend is? It's not for friendship. It's boyfriend and girlfriend is I touch you, you touch me, we kissy, and eventually we have sex.
Yes and no,
and
because if you look at him, he's really nerdy, right? Really very, very nerdy. But I don't think that's his ulterior motive.
No kids it is. They think it's about companionship, but I'm grown enough to know I'm an old coon, and I know it's about feely, touchy, kissy,
yes
fucky,
and no,
fucky.
Because we seen them outside and the way they interacted, they were very distant from one another.
Honey, but it doesn't matter. I've been 16, you've been 16. Eventually it goes from spacey, kissy, touchy, fucky.
It does if you allow it to.
You're not, and I just don't believe 16-year-old kids are going to be celibate.
You don't. I know, but you don't think they're going to practice restraint?
I don't know.
I think what you said earlier makes a lot of sense. That they're seeing the mistakes of the last generation, and so they don't want to make those same mistakes. I say give him a chance and see what he can do.
I just don't like it. I don't like any. I just don't like it, and I can't stand it when I have so many young mothers too as clients. I don't like it. And I think it's gross.
Well, I don't like the fact that your friend don't want to fucking use birth control. She's basically saying she's going to trap a fucking male.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't understand this wanting to be young mothers. And then when they become young mothers, and then when they become 30, and they really start looking for companions, they can't find a companion because they have 3 kids.
My cousin got 7 kids?
And no, she's got, and then she got 5.
No, she's got
she has 5.
Is it 5?
Yeah.
5 kids, 4 baby daddies.
I think it's just the fact that I'm paranoid because I know I just don't. Maybe because I didn't do the whole young mothering thing. I got on birth control and I don't understand why these girls aren't. I've been on birth control since I was 19 years old. When I started having sex, I don't understand that if you are old enough to let a person stick their penis in your vagina, why aren't you old enough to say, I don't want no kids. I'm going to protect my reproductive rights. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. But because later on you want to become a bitter woman because you had all these multiple kids and then you're having a hard time dating or wanting to get married. Well, you have to see it from other people's point of views. And yes, it is a double standard. A man with 5 kids could marry just fine. It's true. Because a woman would take a man on for some reason with kids, but a man will not. But men have told me over the years why they don't. And it's a lot harder for women. But they don't think that way when they're becoming young mothers, when they're 16 and in love. They don't
want to be the father to fucking several kids. They're not the father. That's why.
Yeah.
Because you can't expect a guy to come in the picture and...
But women don't feel that way because they'll say, well, I took on this guy and he had 6 kids and I loved his kids like they were my own. I take on, because I've heard the story continuously. Women will take on men with kids, but men won't take on women with kids. It's always been the double standard. I don't know why it is, but it's just the way it is.
I'll tell you why. Because when I was a kid and someone came along in my mother's life, I would tell them flat the fuck out. Fuck you. You're not my dad. I don't got to listen to you. I literally would say that. I'm like, I don't got to listen to you. You're not my dad. Fuck you. Like, I literally said that. And so imagine these kids. You got guys coming in and out of the relationship, and you're supposed to just look at them as a father figure, but
Right.
yet they're out cheating on your fucking mom and they're beating on your mom, but they're supposed to be looked up as a positive male
That's true.
influence role model. Fuck that. Like, you're not my fucking role model. One of them fucking tried to molest me when I was a kid, and then I told my mom, she didn't fucking believe me. You know what I'm saying?
And that's
So how am
another
I supposed to
thing.
look up to that shit?
That's true. And that's another subject in itself, that there are so many women who are pick-me-shas that are so desperate for a man that they will choose a man over their children.
Yeah.
And I've seen it that countless times too. So that's why I just don't, and some of these kids have grown up with mothers like that, but they still end up young mothers themselves. You know, so I just sometimes don't understand how people become young mothers, and I don't understand. I'm never going to understand, because
Because they're pushed to.
I didn't do that. I did not do that. I used what was out here, which was birth control. I did not do that. So there are instances of accidents, sure. But a lot of these young girls are having babies early by choice. And then when things don't go their way, they want to make young men's lives miserable. And that's what I fear for my two godsons. And I would fear that for my own son. I know how vicious little girls can be when they're in love. And it's just so much power that young women have. And I wish young men would understand that, but they don't understand it because they're hot in the ass. Their dick is just hard. They just want to get their dick wet. But they don't understand that at 18, 19, 21, 25, 22, paying child support and them and having warrants out for your arrest and all these things come from some little girl's feelings you hurt, or you didn't give her way. And now she's got complete control over your life for 18 years or possibly even more, because even if you don't pay it and the child's 18 and you didn't pay all that child support, you still have to pay it after they're 18.
Which is ironic,
All the
because
way
our
up to
guest
it-
as a single father, we were going to talk about that today a
It's
little
still, so it's like girls have the power to ruin. Either you can bless or to ruin. And I just really feel bad for the young men, because more than I feel bad for the young women. And it's crazy because of the fact that I see the other side of it. These little girls are vicious and sneaky and just getting pregnant because they want that boy.
bit. Putting holes in the condom.
Yep.
Not wearing a condom.
Or telling them I'm on birth control, but I'm really not on birth control.
Man, I had a girl do that back in the day. I fucked around. So I don't know if I probably did tell you that. I don't know if I did or not, but I know back in the day I fucked around with this female, and she ended up getting knocked up. But she had told me that she couldn't get pregnant, that she had her tubes tied and all this bullshit, right? And later on, she fucking got pregnant, and she put the baby up for adoption. And she literally told me that shit and was like, well, you're not in a position to be a father, and it's a good family. She did it just for a quick cash out because she needed money. Like, are you fucking kidding me? And that's the kind of shit you're talking about. And when she did that, I believed it wholeheartedly, like, nutting left and right. And then she got pregnant.
Well, that's kind of how what's his name story is. The one with the 5-year-old. His was like that because they both believe he didn't believe he could have any kids because he was a drunk for 20 years. So,
oh no.
And he was busting nuts in every bitch he was when he was drinking. So, and he never had no kids. So he didn't believe, he thought he was shooting blanks, but didn't realize he got sober. 2.5 years after he got sober, his sperm count went up, way up.
Right.
She thought she couldn't have kids because her uterus is tilted or whatever, and she already had pregnancy issues with her first son.
Come on,
she
old
didn't.
girl.
Yeah. So they both did it, and voila, here comes our kid, and she's 5 years old now. So those are accidents that can happen. I can see accidents like that.
And he needs to quit bullshitting and be on the fucking show, bro. I'm going to call you out, bro.
No.
Like, I'm not going to say your name, but you know who the fuck you are. You need to come on the show.
He's not going to go on the
We're
show
gonna talk
because
about-
he is not.
Yeah, he is. I'm going to get his ass on the show.
You're not going to. Trust me. You're
I
not.
will fucking find a way
He's
to get him on
50
the
years
show.
old, just like
I
you.
don't give
Y'all
a
some
fuck.
old man. Y'all just.
I don't give a fuck. We can talk about Eazy-E, NWA, whatever. Talk about being a single father. Because here's the thing. We haven't had a lot of that on here. We've only had, I think one guest, maybe two. I don't even think it was two. I think it was one single father.
So single dads who are doing something. You know who I know who I'm going to get on this show.
Who?
I'm going to see if you'll come one of my clients, because
You talking about
this
Jason?
goes, no, you don't know my client, Amir. My client, Amir, woo! This is a great subject.
And we need that
he has
perspective.
he has custody of 2 of his daughters and the things that his baby mamas have put him through. He has a story. I've watched him grow through this story because I've been cutting his hair 12 years.
What's he doing now?
He's at work. He's at work
Oh,
at home,
okay.
but I have to get hold of him ahead of time. But he does have a story. I always told him he needs to do like a podcast or something because he literally has a fucking story. The things that the court systems have put him through because he's male.
Oh, I believe it.
It's just like I said, women have the power to destroy. And I know I should be backing women up, but I'm not because I'm on this subject because it's like, I guess my whole message to women is you can either bless or destroy a man. Choose to bless a man because if you choose to try to destroy that man by having kids with him, knowing he doesn't want children, you're just only destroying yourself and your own future too.
But also,
and the relationships that your kids will have with the fathers because a lot of the time it's not going to turn out too well.
I'm also going to add to this. Stop holding the kids for ransom and not letting the father see the kids, because me being a product of not having a real dad in my life growing up, if the baby's father wants to be in the picture, sometimes the baby's father and the baby mama, they got to fucking come to a balance, a compromise, because the kids are the one that are suffering. Like, the kids suffer. Put your fucking feelings aside for a minute and fucking be there for your fucking kids. That's it. Like, you guys out there that are doing this shit, and women, okay, it's not cool, because there are guys out there, and I'm going to stand up for them, that
really
are
good
trying
guys.
to do the right thing. Like, for example, her friend, huge difference from back in the day, how he was abusive and alcoholic and just drunk, right? And now he's sober, clean, got a couple kids. He's still got his good job. He's putting money to the side. He's doing everything he got to do the right fucking thing. And he's got this naive ass chick that he's with that don't really give 2 fucks about him. And it's sad.
I wouldn't say no. I
don't mean it like that, but you know what I mean. Like, she don't really put his feelings in the mix.
Oh no, because but the thing is, that's a whole nother predicament because I'm sorry, but you don't get with somebody who's 13 years younger than you and expect her to be your age. You cannot expect her to be 50 with you when she's 13 years young. No, she gonna act fool. She gonna act young. She gonna be younger because she young.
But her acting out on the way she did, trying to talk shit to you,
Yeah, but that's because of mature. That comes down to
insecurity.
That's his issue too, and hers. Because
True.
If you lie to somebody and make yourself out to be this person, you keep this part of your life so silent.
Yeah.
And then.
So it was like secretive.
Yes.
She didn't really know.
Yes. And that's on him because of the
putting
fact
a fucking, like what you said, without putting it all out there, that's fucked up. Because if that would have got done to me, me and you would have been done. Like what happened with Dave and Rachel. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no fucking way. I'm going to say their name. I don't give a fuck. It ain't like they're going to be on our show anytime soon. But here's the thing. If you put a fucking device or you try to monitor your fucking significant other, what the fuck are you saying? That you don't trust your spouse?
Yeah. You got to think about, we're going to go back to the whole baby daddy too. Some baby mamas aren't mature enough to have co-parenting and accept that it didn't work out with the dad, but the dad still wants to be in the kid's life and they co-parent. And then you have some women who can't deal with that, so they'll hold the kid ransom. Same thing in relationships. Some women do believe. I be on TikTok. I be watching the comments of a lot of videos that I watch.
Right.
Women aren't mature enough. That's what it comes down to. Not mature enough to. They're just not mature. Some women believe if I put a tracker on his car, if I look at his phone, if I give him these rules and that rule, he's not going to, I'm going to keep that penis in his pants at all costs.
He's going to cheat even more.
Correct. But some women aren't mature enough to trust their men, so they feel like they have to do that to keep them in line.
That's horrible.
And so that's what's happening. There's not, and I say this so much because I'm old now, y'all. I used to be all these immature things. That's why I can speak on it, because I used to be there. But y'all, there is an expiration date on some of this shit y'all doing out here. You reach a certain age, you need to let some of them games go. If you feel you got to put a tracker on somebody, and please stop saying it's for safety reasons. That's a bunch of bullshit, because nowadays you can get the SOS button put on your car, especially the brand newer cars. They actually come with it. So you can pay for that service. So an SOS button, for those who do not know, is the OnStart service. where if you get into a car crash, it automatically comes on the radio. The person will come on and say, "Are you okay?" And it speaks through the car. Or if you're in any type of situation where you're lost, anything, it has a satellite, you can tell, you can get to your fam. You can pay for that service. You don't need to put a tracker in nobody's phone.
That's true.
That's not a safety issue. That's called a paranoia issue and a lack of trust.
And if you're doing that and you're going that far to do that, you shouldn't even be in a relationship.
Correct, because you're not mature enough to be in one to trust somebody. Nobody is your property. That penis is attached to that man.
Yep.
And the balls are attached to his body only. It's not yours. Just like your vagina is attached to your body. You cannot try to control what somebody else does with their body. You cannot. The only person who can control that is the individual. If your husband cheats, it's because he wants to cheat. If your wife cheats, it's because she wants to cheat. You can't do anything to stop that. You want to believe you can by trackers, this, that, all these things. All you're doing is creating more insecurity in your world, and you're putting yourself through more hell that you need to go through. You really do. It's just you guys.
I'm telling you now,
grow
if you put a fucking
up.
tracker on my shit, we'd
But
have
my
been,
thing is,
we'd have been done.
let's think about the lighthearted part of the tracker,
would've been
right?
done.
Let's go with the lighthearted
What's
part.
lighthearted about a tracker?
I'm not lighthearted, as in like the things that you could miss out on, like surprises. If you put a tracker on your man's car, your girl's car, let's say she's trying to throw you a surprise party or get you a certain gift. What if she is going to doing something that's great to surprise you or something, and she can't have no privacy because you're going to know every move she's making? What if you were a guy who put a tracker in a girl's car, on his girl's car, but she's trying to plan a surprise party for you, and she's going different places to plan the surprise party? Then let's say she wanted to get you a nice watch or something, even though people don't wear watches, you know what I mean. And you saw that she's going to Jared. You would see everything. There'd be no surprises. You couldn't do that. You know how you always go to Dollar Tree or somewhere trinket and pick me up something. Mm-hmm. But if I've got a tracker, I'm going to know every move you're making. That's crazy to me. And that just doesn't, everybody deserves privacy. I'm sorry, but everybody deserves privacy.
If you were
to some extent, you don't need to be telling your partner every fucking thing. That's like them being in the bathroom while you're taking a shit and them wiping your ass for you. Like, some things are just meant to be in private, you guys. And you have to let people have some things that are for themselves. But you wanting to be a part of every single thing and no, that shows a lot of insecurity. Just because you guys are partners together doesn't mean that you can't have privacy. Everybody has a right to that. They just do.
If you was to say what today's message is about, what would it be?
Grow up. Grow up. Grow up and be cautious. You have the power to either affect somebody's life in a positive way or in a negative way. So try to be a positive influence on people's life versus a negative one.
And also, women, stop in prison, trying to entrap these men out here that don't want to be with you.
Yeah.
Like, the best thing I can say, because I know I'm not going to mention people's names, but we both know people that are in relationships and they could be better. And they might not be happy in those relationships, but for whatever reason, they're still together and they have tons of kids together. That's not, at some point, you got to realize, do you guys really want to be together? Do you really love each other? Or are you just having these kids because
you really don't want to be together? You need a distraction.
Exactly.
To actually keep
Don't have
it
a
together.
kid as a distraction. Have a kid because you want to have a kid and you want to raise a kid and you want to bring them into this world. Don't have it because you guys can't get along, because the kid can see right through that shit too.
Yeah.
Kids are not stupid. Kids can see everything. When they're kids.
Don't use kids as a distraction to stay together because you guys don't want to be together. Don't just keep having kids.
Because it's not fair to the kid. It's not fair to the kid.
And women.
Parents are very selfish. They really are.
I'm so hard on women these days, but it's because I'm watching what they do. I'm just really watching.
Because they're kind of ratchet, a lot of them.
Even some of these married ones are ratchet.
Yeah.
Some of your husbands do not want these children. And they tell people like me, they're service workers, they're barbers, or hairstylists, they're tarot card readers, how they really feel. They're not telling their wives because their wives are so adamant about what they want. Relationships should be where you guys complement each other. It should not have to be sacrifice. I'm tired of hearing that. This is my last statement, and then I'll be done. This is not a trade war with relationships, you know.
It's not a tariff.
No, it's not.
Fucking call back.
Good Lord, my phone today.
Scam likely.
But it's not a trade war where I give you a nose, you give me a foot. I give you an arm, and you give me your fingers. Everybody keeps talking about relationships are sacrifice and compromise. That is such bullshit, because if you're always doing a trade war, trade me this for that, you end up with two disheveled people. That's not a whole relationship.
Yeah.
A whole relationship comes from the fact of you accept the person as themselves as a whole. You have to accept it, not, well, you need to sacrifice this for me because I'm this. No, it's you complement each other. Be whole with each other, not disheveling each other up, because that's what I'm seeing in a lot of relationships where just disheveling each other. It's like, well, I gave you an arm, so you need to give me a foot. And it's just, I had to grow up on that concept. We all have to just grow up that it's not a compromise. It's not, you're always having to sacrifice, give up something to be with. You shouldn't have to give up. That's the whole point I'm saying. And I've seen so many people are giving up their happiness, giving up themselves, giving up big parts of themselves for other people. And that's not what relationships should be. It should be just an equal, two whole people coming together, literally and coming together as one big consecutive team, so you can build and so you can grow upward. Okay, I'm done.
Wow. As we're getting towards the end, there's really not much else to say. At the end of the day, just, I guess my 2 cents on it, and then we'll end it, is in a relationship, there's supposed to be a balance. In life, there's supposed to be a balance. It's not one way or the other way, or my way or the highway, you know, and I'm learning that because, you know, being a Pisces, I'm pretty selfish, but I'm also learning how to be selfless. And I think I've come a long way. I'm not perfect. I'm not ever going to be perfect.
And that's the thing.
No, I know. No, hold that thought. I was in the
my
middle
bad,
of good thought. I'm not perfect, but I know I'm working at it. And that's really what a relationship is. It's working at it. It's showing your partner that you are trying and that you're doing, and not just trying, you're doing, you're executing it. Because you can say, I'm trying all day long. You can say that I'm trying. Well, no, do. Don't try, do. So you tell me that back in the day, and it sunk in my head. So I don't just try, I do. You do things by results and by your actions, not by what you say. Because I can say all day long, I'm going to drink some water. But if I don't fucking drink the water, I'm not going to drink the water, right?
That's true.
So people out there, you got to make better decisions when it comes to being with somebody. You know, you got to really look for, you know, when it's time, you'll know. But don't rush into relationships.
And take time to know yourself.
Enjoy your youth.
Know yourself, too.
And enjoy your youth, man.
Know yourself and your own love language. You have to know yourself. That's the hugest part, because yes. I didn't. I didn't know what my love language was. Jason's love language is attention, affection. What does that even mean? I don't even know what you mean by that today.
Because you keep getting closer to the mic and it keeps peeking out. So.
Okay. Say that. Because I'm like, what is this hand gesture you keep doing?
Yeah, I'm watching the levels. I'm trying to keep the levels.
Well, you can just tell me that, like, babe, back up from the.
That's what I've been doing. I've been going like.
What
this.
does that mean? I don't know what that means.
That means like back off the fucking microphone. Back the fuck off the microphone. See the difference? See when I just got loud, it just went into the red?
But you could have just said that, like, babe, back off the microphone.
Back the
I'm
fuck
thinking,
off.
what is, you guys, he's doing this hand gesture. I'm like, what is he doing?
Because I'm trying to say it nonchalantly, like not on the fucking microphone. But it's like when she's talking, sometimes.
But know your love languages, you guys. I had to realize mine, I didn't want to believe this about myself, but it's just the truth.
What is it?
Mine is money and gifts.
And security.
I feel love.
And security. You want security.
Yes, that's how I feel loved. You feel love off of affection. Jason he's very affectionate and very attention. Like, stop what you're doing, pay him attention. But that's his love language. And touch. He's touch. So people get to know who you are so you know and understand what you need to feel love from others. And nobody can know that but you first. So you can communicate it to other people. So you don't have to keep running into conflicts and unnecessary fights and arguments and quarrels for no reason. Know yourself before getting into a relationship so you're able to communicate to that other person how you receive love.
And men, the best advice I can give you is stop using the wrong head to make decisions.
Oh, that's so hard.
Stop.
though.
No, seriously. Stop using, just because you look at something and blow in the wind, your dick gets hard, that don't mean you got to fuck everything that moves.
This is true.
You need
because
to think
women can
because-
destroy you.
because your dick can get in a trap real quick.
And women can destroy you.
Yes. So with that, we are out of here, y'all. You get to unpack all that shit.
I know, right?
Are we going to be back next week?
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to be back next week. Hopefully we have a guest. We might have a guest lined up. We had one today, but, as always, something
Shit
always...
happens.
Shit
Life
happens.
happens.
Life happens. But we'll be back next week, y'all. So y'all have a great rest of your week. And remember, be kind to one another. And don't put fucking tracking devices on your fucking significant other's car. It's not a good idea. And
At
with
all,
that,
or phones.
we're out of here. Have a good one,
day.
y'all.
Wow, that was a good episode.
It was deep as fuck. It was another great, fabulous, deep episode of...
Talking Nude.
We talked about tracking devices, single fathers, single mothers, babies, and...
Talking Nude.
Could you imagine if the babies were running around doing all that? It'd be crazy. They'd take up their rows and they'd be...
Talking Nude.
I wouldn't want to see that shit, like Bugs Bunny.
And how I'm paranoid.
That
I'm
was
paranoid
Talking Nude.
of young people's relationships.
Talking Nude. That's what we do, y'all. We just talk. It should be
Nude.
called Talking Nude, Talking Shit Live. Like
Talking Nude. Yeah, literally. Thank you guys. Have a great and wonderful day.
We appreciate all of you guys for tuning in, and we do check it out. Before we leave, Voorhees187 Instagram, TikTok, Old School Funny Guy 75.
And Miss Kathy A on TikTok and Kathy Bravo Cuss, all one word, on Instagram.
And we will have the show on YouTube very soon. I'm working on getting it on there. And yeah, that's pretty much it, y'all. See y'all next week.